Well, my Indian name is Pasayuks. I got that from my grandfather. Means different one. Everything that I do, I try to be as different as I possibly can in everything that I do. Coaching, parenting, myself, the way I dress, the way I am, the way I respond, the way I act. But most definitely try to be as different as possible in my artwork. My career started at my grandpa's house. We lived in Marysville, and my grandpa lived in Everett, and I got dropped off there every morning, and he would be carving or telling me stories about my culture, who I am, who I'm related to, and then after school, he would be carving, and then everything would start all over again, kind of like Groundhog's Day, and same stories, and that was a way to keep me remembering everything. There was a time where my grandpa and my dad were carving, and there was just pieces that they didn't like, and they just put it on the wood chips that's on the floor in the kitchen, and that was his carving space. And I just put all these pieces together, and I created this little orca whale, this little blackfish. I still have it today, and I think I was around 5 years old, and I entered in a competition out here at Tulalip, and I won my first award.
Nominated James because of the impact he's had on the community and the artist community, as well as the all the rest of us. He's very generous with his artwork. It's on display many places, but he also donates to many charities. He spent a lot of time with Archbishop Murphy High School this year in carving a healing pole with the students, which was a really tremendous way to give his culture to those kids and to really be a learning experience for them.
So every second of my life, I think about creating, developing, engineering. It's hard for my brain to stop working. I'm a night owl, not a morning person, and it's just the way that I'm wired. I'm constantly trying to figure out how to put a project together, how to create a project, and I'm several projects ahead of where I am today, what I'm working on today.
I've been lucky enough to commission 4 or 5 pieces of artwork across Everett and Snohomish County, and each one is rich in symbolism. The way he takes traditional Coast Salish and Tlingit figures and symbols and then contextualizes them into sharing privileged stories from his people in a way that gets people excited. You just want to know more about these long historic stories.
I was doing an exhibit over in the Monte, and it was a Coast Salist exhibit. And so I wanted to get the Tulalip Tribes involved, of course. And so that's when I first met James, and he actually helped me curate that show and put it together. He brought in artists that he knew from the tribes.
James's work has made a positive impact in Everett because simply, like if I'm just speaking from my heart, Everett is more beautiful because of James's work, because his work is so beautiful. I think more like deeply that it preserves the history of the Coast Salish people who were here long before I lived here. And to me as an Everett resident, when I get to experience that and learn about that through history, through art, it makes my experience living here richer. And I appreciate that very much.
Honestly, I love all the mediums. I get really excited when I am in that medium and creating, but it'll always be wood because I can't explain the spiritual connection I have when I create like a totem pole or a mask, or when I'm creating a welcome figure or a house post or a story pole. I basically see this tree and I see like the spirit inside it, and I remove what doesn't belong.
And just talking with him, you know that the most important things for him are his family and his cultural heritage. And those two things, he threads those through his artwork. And he tells the story about his family and the tribes. And we're just honored that we get to appreciate that. Hopefully, through his artwork, people then reflect on their own families, their own heritage, and celebrate their cultures.
My boys inspired me to create something about them, specifically about them. So I just wanted to create something that when they get older, you know, they know that Dad was really busy. I was always in their life. I always coached them. But even when I was doing my artwork, it was about them. It was about passing on the culture to them. You know, I'm always trying to reinvent myself, and I'm always trying to learn new things and create new ways to do something that we did in the past. My grandpa always told me that we're not petrified people, we're still alive. And the way to show that is, you know, to keep doing our culture, to keep showing, you know, that we're still doing our ceremonial things. And, you know, we're Native American, we're Indian. I always have just been trying to keep my culture alive, you know, and that's all I know how to do.